Hey, what's up? It's your boy Rawk. I'm so nervous. I'm about to host some sort of award ceremony, and I thought I was prepared, but now that I'm backstage waiting to get booed at, I don't think I can do this. I think I need to do something that would usually calm me down. So, let's say I was going to talk about video games. That usually puts me in a good mood, and let's link that to my speech about the greatest accomplishments of the past 10 years. If I was to do that, then it would probably sound something like... Oh, years are the best! I wish I could talk about 10 of them! Oh boy! It's that time that only comes around every single year, the end. For most self-respecting video game players, the end of the year is known as the time where we look back at all of the gaming experiences we've had over the past 365 days, and officially determine which was the cream of the crop. I'll be the first to admit that this was never really something I did for the longest time, because I doubt Doug Bowser will admit it for me. For most of my life, I wasn't much of a believer in day one purchases. I was usually pretty content with buying a game when I just so happened to be in a shop that was selling it. That was until the release of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. My life hasn't been the same since then. I'm gonna stop taking my meds. And ever since 2018, I've taken the time to pick a game of the year. And looking back at all of the gaming experiences I've had over any 12 months, it's a really enjoyable experience. But like I said, I haven't always made it a priority to play a game the year it came out, so a lot of the time the games I've played this year list is a police lineup. I mean, come on, Burai Fighter came out in 1990 and it took me 31 years to form an opinion on it, so do you really think I care about Fire Emblem? It's fantastic, by the way. So I think the perfect way for me to pass the time before my on-stage career is obliterated would be to talk about my game of the year for every year in a decade. Specifically the 2010s, because I need another year to form opinions on anything that happened before then. Now, before we jump into this, note two things. I obviously haven't played every single game that released in any given year. I'm only human at the end of the day, and I still don't give a shit about Fire Emblem. I'm not going to be basing my picks here on any sort of nominations from the major gaming publications, because they keep giving games that aren't PokePog the award. So to give you a better idea of what we're going to be seeing here, allow me to show you some footage from the last awards show I hosted. My opinion doesn't matter! It's mostly going to be Nintendo stuff. 2019 was sort of a whatever year for me. It never really jumps out as a good or bad year, it's more just that it happened. And I'm sure the games that released didn't help that. Looking back at the lineup of games this year, it's all pretty forgettable. I mean, sure, Super Mario Maker 2 was my least favorite Mario Maker sequel, but I only remember that thing existed in April. Yoshi's Crafted World was really good, and so was the Link's Awakening remake. Now, I know you probably want to crucify me for even putting Yoshi's Crafted World and Link's Awakening in the same sentence, to which I say, you're 2 weeks late, bitch. I'm only really comparing the two on the basis that they were both great games that I never want to play again. I absolutely adored my time with both of them, but they're definitely not games I have an itch to re-experience anytime soon. And then there's Pokemon Sword and Shield. They were okay. I definitely didn't hate these games as much as others, probably because I don't have a severe case of Pokemon fanboy-itis. I do have hemorrhoids though. I didn't really have anything to compare them to because they were my first and only mainline Pokemon experiences, so I was definitely more oblivious to their blunders, but I'd be lying if I said I was blown away by them. I had a pretty solid time with them, but fantastic games, they aren't. So that leaves us with one game. Luigi's Mansion 3 was pretty much what 2019 was building towards for me. Ever since its teaser in 2018, I could not wait to get my hands on this one, and it definitely didn't disappoint. While it didn't live up to the atmosphere of the original game, it was superior in almost every other sense imaginable. It's genuinely one of the best games I've ever played, and then Tetris 99 dropped out of fucking nowhere and made me question my faith. I don't think this can dethrone Luigi's Mansion 3, but this was a damn good game. Some of the best multiplayer that the Switch has to offer, and it isn't even real! I mean, I would play this game with 98 friends, but first, I would need to make 98 more friends than I currently have. It's a fantastic game, but I think we know where my priorities lie. 2018 was pretty much another 2019. Instead of Pokemon, we got Pokemon. Instead of a Mario spin-off, we got a Mario spin-off. Instead of two 2D platformers, one being new and one being a Wii U port, we got two 2D platformers, one being new and one being a Wii U port. Instead of Link's Awakening, we got Captain Toad, and instead of Luigi's Mansion, we got Smash Ultimate, and we didn't even get Tetris 99 this year, damn it! Sometimes I forget just how similar the lineups were between these 2 years. I mean, sure, 2019 had Fire Emblem, but shock horror, Rawk doesn't give a piss. The only big new game this year was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, unless you want to count Nintendo Labo because it takes up a country's worth of space. I wonder if I have room for that. No. My game of the year was Smash Bros. Ultimate. The fighting mechanics are the best the series has ever seen. It feels so damn good to play this game, even if I'm getting my ass kicked. And the wealth of content, oh Christ God! I've played this game for over 500 hours and I still feel like I've barely even touched it. Even after all this time, I can still look at the roster and stage selection and say, have I met you? The amount of joy this game provides is unparalleled. It's not a game that I'm playing on any given Tuesday because Wednesday is my go-to Smash Bros. Day, you fucking drip. And even if there's a big gap between my play sessions, I can always jump right back in and continue having as much fun as I've ever had with it. 2017 was a magical year in gaming where some of the most defining titles in the medium's history were released one after another. But I'm a little bitch, so Super Mario Odyssey wins. Now let's be fair here, Odyssey had some of the steepest competition I've ever seen. Sonic Mania was a treat from start to finish, Splatoon 2 was Splatoon again, which meant it was great, Persona 5 is a game I'll never touch because I'm not a fan of this, or this, Sonic Forces? Hi, what's your evacuation protocol? But of course, the one game that could truly take the title from Odyssey was Breath of the Wild. This game is something else. It's one of the most immersive and enjoyable experiences I've ever had, not just in gaming, but on the whole. I love everything about it, and going into it with no expectations really highlighted to me that this was a game where what I felt while playing could never be replicated. I think I'm okay with saying that Breath of the Wild is probably an objectively better game than Odyssey, even though they aren't even close to comparable in my opinion. But Super Mario Odyssey is my favorite game of all time, and once again, I'm a little bitch. I'm not exaggerating when I say that this game is a huge reason as to why I still play games. I had fell off of gaming almost entirely when this game released, and it was the first game that had genuinely excited me in almost 2 years. And when I played this game, nothing else in my life mattered. It was pure bliss every second of the way. And even though I've beaten it 6 or 7 times since that initial playthrough, the magic is still there for me. I can still turn this game on and be overcome with childlike glee. It is the best game I've ever played. And even if one day something eclipses it, I'll always remember this game as the reason I own Big Brain Academy on the Wii. Oh wow, so this is what famine feels like. 2016 was the year of Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge and very little else. It was boring and lonely and I'm sad. Paper Mario Color Splash, Star Fox Zero, Metroid Prime Federation Force. None of these games were received well by fans or critics, and there weren't a ton of other notable releases either. So I'm gonna switch gears for a sec, and I'm gonna say that my game of the year was Overwatch.
Sir, can we get you anything for your performance?
Oh, no integrity for me, thanks. How about a dose of leprosy? Now I know, I'm not one to give credit to Satan. I hear he's capable of being a decent guy, but as a company executive, Christ no. I do not respect Activision or Blizzard, but I'm not ashamed to admit that I had an absolute blast with Overwatch. This was the game that made me want a Wii U on meth. And it's also the reason that this thing is collecting dust to this very day. I have so many memories with this game. I was never particularly great at it, but that never made it any less fun. I love the characters, I love the events, and honestly, the gameplay was incredibly solid. But that's enough sucking off Satan. I should probably go do some charity work to cleanse my soul. If any year was to win the Conflicting Opinions Award, 2015 would be a solid contender. This year had some really good games and some absolute dog shit. The latter category being filled by Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, Devil's Third, Mario & Luigi Paper Jam, Mario vs Donkey Kong Timing Star. Why were they releasing these games yearly? Of course, many would argue that Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival is doomed to be considered less than great, but again, I will stand by the opinion that this game can be quite a good time. It's not my favourite in the Animal Crossing series, but it is my least favourite by proxy. I am great at sticking to my own arguments. So, contenders this year for me were Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, Super Mario Maker, and Splatoon. I haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles X, I haven't played Rhythm Paradise Mega Mix, which just will not stop hurting me, and I personally consider Yoshi's Woolly World to be shit because I refuse to let go of an opinion that I formed in 2015. Have I played the game since then to see if I still agree with it? Well, my opinion already doesn't matter, so you know I haven't. So with that in mind, I think my game of the year for 2015 is Splatoon. I have no shame. Happy Home Designer is a good game, but it's more of a fun distraction than something I played a lot. And Super Mario Maker was a game that I definitely played more, but looking back, Splatoon left much more of an impact on me. This game was hectic, frantic fun. Its concept and gameplay was so damn unique and interesting. And this game breathed some much needed life into the Wii U's library. Of course, with that train of thought, we have to talk about how Super Mario Maker single-handedly justified the gamepad's existence. And with that in mind, I'm gonna give Super Mario Maker my coveted Should Have Been a Launch Title award. Now this is what I call a good year. 2014 was stuffed to bursting with great games, which is weird to me, mainly because this never really jumped out in my mind as a huge year for gaming, even though it definitely should. Mario Kart 8, Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Kirby Triple Deluxe, and so many more games that I haven't even played yet, such as Bayonetta 2, Hyrule Warriors, and Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. This year was packed with quality games. This is an extremely tough one to make a call on too. Each of the three games I'm considering have equal amounts of pros and cons. Smash 4 was a wicked fun time, especially on the 3DS, and I got years of fun out of this one. I can nitpick it to hell and back nowadays, and I don't really have much of a desire to play it anymore, but at the time of its release, yeah, this game was good and stuff. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is quite possibly my favourite 2D platformer of all time, and Mario Kart 8 is Mario Kart 8. I think I have the most problems with Smash 4, so I'll boot that from the running. And while I have so many fond memories with Mario Kart 8, I can say the same about basically every other Mario Kart. To some extent, each of these games are interchangeable. You can have the same amount of fun with most of them compared to the others, and then Super Mario Kart and Super Circuit sure do have existence going for them. But Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is a near perfect game. There is legitimately no aspect of this game that I have issues with. The gameplay is refined to the nth degree, the world is blindingly gorgeous and so expertly designed, and the difficulty hits that perfect sweet spot, difficult enough that it's super satisfying to nail any given challenge, but not so difficult that you'll end up wanting to quit after a while. And the movement system is so slick, you can string together moves and maneuvers so smoothly and with such precision, it makes you feel like such a badass! Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is almost flawless, and is, in my opinion, the best game of 2014. The Satisfaction Attraction opens its doors again, as 2013 was another solid year. Now obviously we had a piss load of Luigi games, the best of which being Luigi's Mansion 2. We had Super Mario 3D World and Game & Wario, but for me, my game of the year is either Pikmin 3 or Tomodachi Life, and before you ask, no, there isn't a cure for these shit opinions, I've checked. Pikmin 3 is one of the most joyful experiences I've ever had. I had a smile on my face from start to finish and beyond. And while most of my time with this game was spent on the Switch port, that's not at all to discredit the Wii U original. This game is stunning. The soundtrack is so tranquil and surprisingly emotional at times. And the Pikmin gameplay has been improved and refined beyond comprehension. Everything about this game feels impeccable. And even after playing through this one 2 or 3 times, I always have a hankering to do it again. And Tomodachi Life? Well, Tomodachi Life is just cool as f***. I don't know why, but the concept of this game really resonated with me. It's not really a game that you play, it's more something that you witness. But even still, it's a blast. I am yearning for this game to make a comeback, with loads more content to boot, because that's the one big flaw of this game. You run out of things to do after not too long, and if the monotony of checking in with your islanders isn't enough to keep you coming back, then this probably isn't the game for you. And while that was enough of a pull for me personally, I have to give my game of the year to Pikmin 3 because again, Tomodachi Life is less of a game and more of an experience, whereas Pikmin 3 is definitely more game, and it's a damn fantastic one at that. Honorable mentions go out to Deadpool and Grand Theft Auto 5, the latter is the best non-Nintendo non-Satan developed game under the sun, and the former, it's just funny. Animal Crossing New Leaf. I'm picking Animal Crossing New Leaf. To be completely honest, there isn't much competition here either. New Super Mario Bros. And the Adventures of Double Dipping, Nintendo Land, Kid Icarus Uprising, holy shit, there was still DS games coming out at this point? If New Leaf didn't release this year, Nintendo Land would definitely take the cake. It had the best Banjo-Kazooie levels known to man, but I'm easy to please. If it has animals and a mortgage, I will applaud. I've talked about this before, so I'll keep this tangent as brief as I can, but Animal Crossing New Leaf is one of the greatest games I've ever played. It's such a warm, cozy experience. It's the perfect game to just sit back and relax to. And I am yet to find somebody who ran out of things to do in this game. So is the Court. This game is just... it's my happy place. It's impossible to feel anything but joy while playing it. And it has Animal Crossing Puzzle League. Should have said sooner. Meh. Looking back, 2011? It had nothing. The launch of the Nintendo 3DS was notoriously pretty rough, and my holy shit god, it's easy to see why. Like what, Pilot Wings Resort? Nintendogs plus Cats? Fucking Steel Diver? The only 3DS game that truly mattered this year was Super Mario 3D Land, and this game couldn't even resurrect Christ. What a little bitch. Sure, we got Ocarina of Time and Star Fox 64 3D, but they were both remasters of Nintendo 64 games. And then on the Wii, Skyward Sword? It's the best game I've never played. That's a lie. So my game of the year for 2011 is Super Mario 3D Land. Or Kirby's Adventure Wii, bitches! Both of these games are creamed with nostalgia for me, so I could really go either way. Kirby's Adventure Wii is a damn solid 2D platformer, and Super Mario 3D Land is a pretty good 3D one. But Super Mario 3D Land is only really good in the context of the 3DS and handheld games in the genre. I mean, sure, I prefer it to 3D World, but I prefer Virginity to Friendship. Doesn't mean Virginity is objectively better. I think if you take Super Mario 3D Land and put it on a home console, it loses a lot of its charm. But if you take Kirby's Adventure Wii and put it in any other context than a TV and a waggle stick, it's still a fairly impressive game. And it's for that reason that I'd say Kirby's Adventure Wii was a better game. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's my favorite, so which of the two is? Oh. You, Mario Sports Mix wins, bitches! Nintendo kicked off the decade with a pretty strong year. Super Mario Galaxy 2, Donkey Kong Country Returns, Kirby's Epic I Don't Give a Shit Fest, Xenoblade Chronicles, Fling, Smash! Now of course you may be screaming, but Rawk, none of that matters. Mario Sports Mix came out this year, and I know that's why I led with that. Learn to read social cues. It feels pretty weird putting this game at the top, to be perfectly honest. Super Mario Galaxy 2 is one of the greatest meshes of polygons to ever be spat onto a disc. Donkey Kong Country Returns was the triumphant return of the Donkey Kong Country series and stands damn near toe-to-toe with its sequel. And the other games are probably pretty good too, but I don't have amount of time to play Xenoblade in my life. My schedule is inflexible. I think if we're going to ignore any type of nostalgia and excruciating bias, Super Mario Galaxy 2 undoubtedly takes the cake. But if we do the unthinkable and don't ignore those things, then we can say goodbye to my credibility. So yes, you heard it here first. This is Rawk's definitive list of games that he enjoyed the most in any given year. It's a fun party trick of mine. Looking back and picking a game of the year and reflecting on an entire decade of gaming experiences has been an absolute blast. I know it probably sounds pretty shallow, but reflecting on my experiences over the years really makes me appreciate gaming more than I did before. Taking the time to sit back and remember the times I had with these games, it was a blast! And definitely a tradition I'm gonna keep alive for as long as I can, until I realize I needed to be on stage 15 minutes ago. Okay, I think I can do this. I think I'm ready. Nothing can stop me now! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Rawk, and I'm here to sell you legally questionable diet pills? You sure you wouldn't rather talk about Luigi's Mansion 3?